Finding a weapon that doesn't suck early wipe can be hard due to the limited options that we have from the traders at the beginning. But in this video, I'm going to show you some of the helpful gun builds that you can make even before your first raid that I personally find are really effective early wipe. I'm also going to show you some level 2 trader builds that you can use when you get there so we can be prepared for any barter items that we might need. So getting into the builds, the first gun I'm going to show you is the AKM. We all know how powerful 7.62 PS is early wipe. It has 35 pen with 57 damage, which makes it really good against any armor a player will have at early wipe, even level 4. It's basically the BP of early wipe, and what's great about PS ammo is that you can purchase this round off level 1 prapor. So this build is going to take advantage of that, as well as the abundance of easily accessible AK platform weapons and parts that you can buy straight from the get-go. On this AK build, we're going to be able to get a sight, the foregrip on it ready for our first raid, or if you die with your starter weapons, you can use this to fall back on. So the parts we're going to need for this build is the AK100 handguard, which you can purchase from prapor, the MRS or any other sight that you prefer, and to be able to put this sight on, we're going to need to buy the Bastion dust cover, which is available from Skier. I recommend you tap fire this, as it does have a fair bit of recoil, but in the grand scheme of things, there isn't many weapons that will have low recoil at the start of the wipe. It's worth mentioning that scars spawn with suppressors for this caliber, and the AR GP25 recoil pad fairly often, so you'll be able to upgrade this quite easily on the go. I also find that attachments for AK platforms are way more common to find from experience, unlike 5.56, so I think this is a better caliber to use earlier in the wipe, and they're generally cheaper to mod. If you want to opt for the cheaper and semi-auto option, you can do the exact same build with a VPO 136 Vepr. This option also works out slightly cheaper, but only by a couple of K of rubles. These are what I used earlier in the wipe in my first couple raids, and I found it very effective against players early wipe due to the PS round buff we had not that long ago. It's worth mentioning as well that some people prefer the lower recoils like the SMGs or the MP5, but personally I don't like the struggle they have against helmets and at higher tier armor. The effectiveness when people find level 4 armor drops significantly. So unless you're confident in getting those head eyes or head jaws hits on players, I would probably stick away from using SMGs. Speaking of SMGs, let's move on to the level 2 trader builds that we've got. The UMP has been the staple of effective budget early to mid-wipe meta guns. If this thing has still got the same availability and recoil during this swipe as it did the last few times, then it's very likely going to be the same meta again. So I have to mention it for those of you who don't know. You can buy both the UMP itself and the suppressor from Peacekeeper level 2 for $743. Then it's a matter of sight, flashlight and foregrip, and you can customize it however you like. Personally, I like to also buy the XP S3 hollow sight from Peacekeeper for $254, but the other attachments are completely up to you. It does perform alright by itself with just a sight, so foregrips and flashlight aren't necessary. The best ammo you're going to be able to buy for this is the .45 ACP Match FMJ, which is available from Peacekeeper loyal to level 1, so you can start stocking up on this ammo from day 1 if you want, and if you plan to use this. It doesn't have great pen at only 25, so it will struggle against level 4 armor, and it'll do okay against level 3. It has high flesh damage of 76, which does kind of make up for this, as shots to the legs, arms or stomachs will be particularly devastating to PMCs. Eventually, when you get Peacekeeper level 3, you can start using the .45 ACP AP, which absolutely shreds and is even effective late wipe. And the last gun I'm going to mention is one of my favorites, and it's reasonably budget as well, and that's the ADAR. I chose this because it complements my playstyle early wipe, as I like to take slower and longer range engagements from a distance. This gun is cheap and effective, and if you haven't tried it much, I highly suggest you give it a go. Let's get into the build though. It's a bit of a long list, so get your notepad ready, but all these parts are available from loyalty level 2 traders. From Skier, we're going to grab the AR-15 Damage Industries ECS pistol grip, the Zenit RK4, and the MOE SL medium length handguard. From Jaeger, we're going to need the Monstrum scope, but the scope is personal preference, but this one I particularly like on this gun. From Mechanic, we're going to need the M-Lock 4.1 inch rail for the foregrip. From Peacekeeper, we're going to need the MK12 low profile gas block and the DS150 stock. The Hybrid 46 direct thread mount adapter for the Hybrid 46, and we're going to need 4 RAM sticks to barter for this suppressor from Mechanic. Luckily, this isn't a loyalty level 2 trader, so you'll have time to grab these RAM sticks from PCs and duffel bags until you get to this point. I also recommend you work to get Peacekeeper's tasks done as early as possible, particularly the Cult Part 1 quest, because that will unlock the ability to buy 5.56A1, which is a really good round early wipe. It also can be crafted through the workbench level 2 if you're struggling to get those quests done. However, regular M855 can get the job done early wipe because not many people are going to have good armor, but in my opinion it's one of the best early wipe builds you can use if you have a similar playstyle to me. You'll often have the range advantage with this gun as it's accurate and low recoil. Combined with that monstrum, you'll likely outrange most people with their AKs or MDRs with hollow sights. You'll also have a huge advantage of being suppressed, which early wipe is kind of a huge deal. But that's it for this one. These are what usually give me success early wipe, but let me know and others down in the comment what you like using. I hope you found this video useful. Good luck with your wipe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.